to spice up your own hero games a little bit.
Well, talking about spice, we'll see if we get more pepper as we head into game number 2 in this best of 5 series. We are going to Infernal Shrines. For the Battleground, first pick going over to Fnatic. Now, something to be said, the first map is a Battleground that Zealots really do prefer. They've chosen it pretty often in the past. It's a Battleground that they seem to perform on too. So, if we go into game number 2, we can expect Fnatic to hopefully have a better time here, as this might be one that Zealots might struggle a little bit more on.
Yeah, you say Infernal Shrines, but they perform their own 4. They have chosen it before though, but again, to be fair, they lost most maps this season. So they were 5 and 15 as we were heading in here today. But yeah, Fnatic, I mean, it's a bit crazy. It's honestly a little bit insane. Knowing their scrims, hearing Team Liquid talk about them, Dignitas talk about them, Method talk about them, it is fascinating how much they struggle when it comes to the official HGC game. Was it a fluke? Was it just the draft that didn't really work out and them getting snowballed a little bit? Or is it really a much deeper issue than we expected? We already talked about this being the phase in HGC where Fnatic had the worst start in HGC history from their perspective. The question just simply remains, is it even worse than we expected here? Abathur banned out, first of all, right away.
These two are becoming a mainstay already, as in game number 1 was very similar to Asadar and Abathur. Going into our second ban, we had Li Ming last time, but that was pretty map-specific. You wouldn't want to ban Li Ming here on BOE. They have a Garrosh instead banned out. One to consider when you're around the Shrine phase. He's a pretty good bully, especially if you want to grab Diablo yourself and make sure he doesn't get picked off. But secondly, because Zealots have a Robodoba, and it's one of his main characters that we see pretty often.
It's actually very, very strong with that. Li Ming, by the way, is also banned, or was banned, because it's one of the most successful heroes for...
Where's she at right now?
Li Ming for the Zealots is currently at a 40% win rate, which doesn't really sound too great. Again, until you put it in perspective, they have a 25% win rate on average, so the 40% is pretty solid. And they play her a lot. They played her 10 times already, so 4 wins and 4 losses for them with her. Diablo banned out as well. Something that they don't want to give over to Breeze. Of course, Diablo gaining some additional value on Infernal Shrines, and Breeze normally quite strong with that hero. But we have Blaze again as the pickup. So when it comes to the draft, the first pick for Fnatic still very consistent.
Blaze becoming a bit of a mainstay there for Last Hope. He was staying with Dehaka, even a little bit of Yrel in the last couple weeks, so showcasing that he's continuing to work on his hero pool, which was actually a main concern for him coming into the Fnatic lineup.
This is actually this was the first time that they played Blaze. So this is the second time now that we see Blaze from him. And as you said before, it was mostly Dehaka that he played. He played Yrel also. We've seen him actually even on an Arthur's game. And there we have Yrel, again, together with Hanzo for Zealots. So Zarmany finds himself on Yrel once more. That might be something that, if things don't go their way, Fnatic might even consider to ban out or take away in future games. But for now, they are actually going with the slows and with the melee. Frontline, Thrall and Reyna taken.
And Fnatic are believing in Jimmy here as we go into Thrall and Reyna. Again, multiple slows, Earthquake at 10. For Thrall, and of course Blaze with the oil allows for Reyna to proc that level 1 trait coming in.
Yeah.
Also just good for natural peeling. One of the things about Reyna is he doesn't have that much mobility, but him putting out the damage, of course, is what trades that off, and you're hoping to kill your opponent before, of course, they jump on top of you. And with you having that adrenaline rush, a fight or flight, usually you're in a pretty good spot. Gonna have ETC come in for a ban for the Zealots. They are trying to take away some of the strong tanks that we normally have here for Breeze.
Yeah, I mean, good luck trying to ban out Breeze's hero pool. ETC on the last map was, from a meta perspective, already a little bit weird. We don't really see him anymore because he gets blown up quite easily. He's great. This is one of the problems that you have with a lot of heroes. If you are winning, they work out really well because you're just accumulating kill after kill after kill. The problem is what happens when you are behind. Can you actually use the hero to come back into it? And ETC just has a bit of a lower hero pool, so if you get blown up, that can be a real problem. Stun combos against him were very successful in the first half of 2018 as well, where we saw Lauber, for example, for the leftovers run a lot of ETC and getting punished for it quite heavily just simply because the hero has that low hero pool. And these days, it's easy to blow a frontline hero away. Could see Muradin for Fnatic now, even though it is Infernal Shrines. Oh, Zealot's actually on the pick, my bad. And yeah, so Muradin taken right away.
Is this the Lifebender change? Granted, it's Oxstraws on Infernal Shrines, but something to consider is that Lifebender was recently changed to where whenever you proc it, you get 300 health per second. until it fully procs. It's actually really powerful. It's just gotten to a point where Alex has actually picked on multiple maps in Hero League.
So, my bad, I thought Fnatic was on, it was Fnatic's turn to pick, so Muradin obviously taken by Zealots, not by Fnatic. That leaves Johanna, though. Oh, and Uburak, and Uther as well. All right. I don't mind it too much. The only thing that always concerns me a little bit is that I am afraid of Fnatic. Like, Fnatic obviously doesn't throw anything out there that they haven't tried in scrims, but at the same time, I oftentimes think from their thought process, assuming for themselves that they are the better players, mechanically speaking, if they go into normal play, they don't have to throw that curveball as much as the opponent. But right now they're going into Uther. He has a deny with the Divine Shield on any kind of burst damage. It of course helps if you're going up against that Jaina again that we're now seeing. But yeah. Urel, Jaina once again, a lot of CC, tough to go through. Fnatic a bit more of an aggressive play, having a massive front line now to keep Reyna in a place where he can get the damage out and can't really be contested too much. It's difficult for Zealots to reach him. But Uther on the other side.
Yeah. How do you like the Shrine phase going into level 10? I think before level 10, I really enjoy what Zealots have, but I think post 10, when you have the Cocoon come online, I feel like Fnatic has a really good opportunity to force fights the way they want to, and also keep Alex from being a non-factor.
No, I actually think I would agree with you there. I think Fnatic, once that heroic abilities are in, have a lot of tools that they can use to keep control of those shrines.
Yeah.
The one thing that I just find a bit odd is that Fnatic is... They seem to be very set, and if they lose a game, to change things up and to really throw a little bit of a curveball out there. So Uther can definitely work out. I mean, with the Divine Shield, if you're going in, first of all, if Jaina tries to make that quick play where she can get a snap kill, you can deny that to her. But also you can, for example, empower, let's say, Thrall when he goes in deep to try and maybe confirm that one kill. So that really can help there. But it's still interesting to me how much they experiment, and I would just wonder if it's a little bit too much.
Well, as we head into game number 2 in this best of 5 series. Zealot to be here on the left, Robodoba on Muradin, Quack on Jaina, Chris on Hanzo, Shadow on Alexstrasza, and Zarmony to play Urel.
And they are in the lead. They've taken it the first game, and to the right we have Fnatic, where Last Hope is on Blaze again for the offlane. Mene not on Reyna this time, it's Shrimpy. Mene is playing Thrall. We're currently seeing Smexy on Uther, and we're having Breeze, of course, on Anubarak here. So more of a dive-heavy setup that they have with Anubarak, who can go deep. We have Mene to follow it up, Echo of Elements taken as his level 1 talent, Ace in the hole, of course, for Jim Reyna. So we're going to see a lot of slows coming through, and stuns from Breeze, Mene, and Last Hope to try and help Shrimpy get that damage out. But it showcases also, again, the overlap that they have to an extent in the hero pool. That makes you very flexible with a lot of the heroes that you play. So last time we had Mene play Reyna. This time, because we only have one range damage dealer, it's actually Shrimpy taking over the range damage.
And did you notice the anomaly in the draft? A certain hero did not get picked or banned that we normally see.
The Arthritis boy?
I don't know, Genji.
Oh, I was thinking Malfurion, but yeah, Genji is also a good point.
Genji, it made it all the way through. But you're right, Malfurion didn't make it all the way through. Malfurion's been a little bit all over the place, but I was expecting Genji to be picked up by Quack in particular. Potentially that 5th pick, but he picked Jaina instead. I
was still so baffled by the first game that you're absolutely right. I missed that, and I think this is the first game now where Genji has neither been picked or banned, so he's not sitting at a 100% involvement rate in Europe anymore. I can actually double check that, and yeah, it's the first time. First time that Genji got neither picked or banned in a draft in HGC Europe.
Something I will say is that these mobile characters, Genji and Tracer, actually have a bit of a difficult time against Raynor. One, because of that fight or flight, it's very hard to dive him and drop a pulse bomb, for instance, on Tracer, as you're able to negate majority of that, takes pure armor. But also, if you go into Raynor's Raiders, that DPS plus Raynor being in the mix is very hard for these mobile squishy characters to deal with. So,
yeah,
wondering if that might have been a factor here.
It's definitely one of the adjustments that we could see going into Raiders instead. It's always depending a lot on the map, I feel, and the way that you're playing the game. Hyperion is still insanely powerful if you can drop it at the right moment, and you get really good damage out with that. It's just good zone control. But depending on the lineup that you're up against, you're absolutely right. And talking about aggression as we did earlier, we see some of that in play as Zarmony is being ganked here. Now we had Breeze and then followed up by Blaze, by Last Hope. Try to get a kill here, but of course it's Urel and she doesn't fall easily, but at least they're applying that pressure. And this is actually an adjustment that I want to talk about real quickly, because it's something that I have seen a few times. I mentioned it in the previous game. Level 4, we have the Behemoth Armor. So the extra 250 health that we have for Reyna now, and also every single time you proc with a 4-shot to get trade with give him some pepper, you get an additional 5 maximum health. This is a talent that I'm still torn on, because I just think the cooldown reduction on your fight or flight and the extra armor is a fantastic tool, and when it comes to effective hit points, it seems to be something that is just very difficult to give up on. But I have seen the Behemoth armor now a few times, and it just, to me, is a question, how much can you actually get out of it? They're getting a lot out of the rotation to the bot lane, though.
Yeah, coming in there and getting a kill. Getting a couple of stacks there, too, on the Behemoth armor. I will say, I agree with your opinion about fight or flight. I think that's the go-to pick no matter what. However, I can see a world where if you can get a lot of stacks on an objective that a lot of people are fighting around, which we have here in Infernal Shrines, and you have divers coming at you, and with Murden and your rail consistently hitting you, maybe that additional health might be just enough to get you into a position where you survive. So I can see the thought process behind it, but it takes a while to stack for sure.
Yeah, but for me, here's the thing. Let's say you get 50 stacks would already be great. Oh, let's talk about this after the Shrine phase is over, because we're actually having a huge commitment here with Chat already popping the Dragon Queen, and both teams are on 20, but Fnatic is already moving a little bit away, willing to give that up. We talked about this earlier, the level 10, or until level 10, it seems that Zealots just have the upper hand when it comes to fighting over a Punisher. It's a bit of a sad story for Fnatic, considering that this is an arcane Punisher, so they could actually get a lot out of it, Zealots that is. But for Zealots, this is a fantastic start. But you could see Fnatic rotate heroes away very, very quickly, because they said, hey, with Dragon Queen and everything else, if they fully commit, we might have to walk away from it.
Yeah, now's not our time to fight. Around 10, we can actually deal with that a little bit better, and then we'll fight over the Shrine phase. Thrall soaks middle, Blades pushes in top, and Zealots will attempt to break down this wall. Breaking down the side wall, too. Get a little bit more scatter arrows in there, as well as maybe follow up on a potential Punisher jump. But nothing really evolves from there. Fnatic able to defend, take a little bit of damage on top of this fort. They do get a nice experience lead thanks to pushing in that top wave. A couple of waves were missed out, with Mana, of course, hooking bottom as well. Seeing he has finished with the Echo of the Elements too, he's in a good position to continue pushing out waves.
Now, let me come back real quick to Behemoth armor. The one thing that always worries me a little bit, let's say you get 50 stacks on it, right? That's already insane. In a match on HGC level, you shouldn't really be able to get 50 stacks, or at least it would drop really late. That would be an additional 250 health to the bonus that you get from picking it. And I just don't think that late into the game that's really worth it. So the thought process here has to really be the initial 250 maximum health that you get, that you play around that. And yeah, some players just decide that that's worth it. Good kill again also by Fnatic, as we are just talking about a couple of these talents. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with Reyna, and I feel we are going to do that over the course of the weekend. We might see a bit of Asmodan player as well, so that we can go into the builds there and the variations that you can play. But it's just pretty cool that there are currently thought processes going into different talents, especially around that level 4 talent here when it comes to Gym Reyna.
It allows you to adapt. And typically when we used to talk about old Reyna, when level 13 came online, it's when you were in a good spot to be able to deal with Murden. And it's kind of changed a little bit. Now you're at level 16, whenever you're able to get that Juggernaut ability to burn down your opponent. So wait for that 16 to come online. We'll help out with Raynor taking out Murden. For now, Murden should be able to be king. And there's a reason why he's king right now. He is destroying a majority of matches. One of the best tanks right now for being able to jump into fights, take some poke, thanks to third win. And of course, having that ability at level 7, give him the axe, is one of your main go-tos. If you're able to jump on any squishy, for the most part, you're able to clear them up. Zarni, speaking about getting jumped on, takes some damage here on the top. Tries to jump over the wall and go for an escape, but Last Hope catches him with the help of Smexy, and Fnatic finds a third kill of the game.
Third kill and 0 for the Zealots. Fnatic is doing a lot better in this game than they did on the first map. So we're gonna answer the question, I feel, pretty soon, at the latest on the third map, if it was just the map and the draft, or if it's really a problem with Fnatic approaching games within HGC environments with a problematic mindset. Hyperion taken again for Jimmy, by the way, and we have now that synergy with Earthquake that we've been waiting for, so Jimmy is going to get a lot of procs out of his level 1 talent, so it's going to be super important here. But Zealots are also claiming their level 10 ability, and that allows them to contest the next shrine. You've been talking about Murden, by the way, and Murden is currently in a really good spot also from a competitive perspective, also when it comes to balance, because he's sitting at a solid 50% win rate. He had 48 games played and 24 wins, 24 losses, so in a very good spot as a was a bit of an all-rounder, lacks on the wave clear side,
Yeah.
but he makes up for it with a lot of sustain and also the CC and single target damage that he can bring to the table.
That's always such a good foundation. When you speak about 48 games that's in at 50%, that is a great way to start your draft. We typically see Murden in those 1-2 slots, especially on particular battlegrounds like Dragonshire, even 2-minute Spider Queen. Robodoba steps up and gets a Storm Bolt on top of Breeze. Is able to kite away though, being just fine, while Blaze and Thrall rotate in. Now Zealots will hit level 10 as well, so they do have their heroic abilities available, and we can have a full-fledged team fight. And this is where their composition is strong, on the Shrine phase. Explosive arrows, very helpful. Jaina able to lock down that Ring of Frost. A lot of chokes here on top Shrine for her to connect with. It's all a matter of whether or not they get the engage they want.
And of course now we have also the Cocoon, and that could be used here. Here comes the Dragon Queen again. Earthquake already in play. Now it's Jimmy time. The stun is there. Immediately Cleanse comes out as we make sure that Shrimpy is in a decent spot, and the retreat of the Zealots as the Cocoon comes also in play. Shrimpy once again just whittling away at the hit point pool. Here Divine Shield even thrown out as Breeze moves out. Wasn't quite needed there, so maybe a bit of a problem with the communication between Smexy and Breeze in that instant. The Burrow Charge was ready, and he had his shield, is able to get out, so better safe than sorry. But we still have Quacknix with the Ring of Frost.
Fnatic trying to follow up here because of the damage, but as much as they can on Robodoba, he'll hop out. Ring of Frost, as you mentioned, doesn't really connect on anybody. Mana trying to cut away, though, is getting low on health. Zarmony goes in, gets a little bit of damage, but the bunker out just in time, and Fnatic are able to handle this bottom right corner, and we are actually pretty close. Oh, just kidding, as we have a 39-26. Here comes Breeze, goes for the knockup, goes for one, tries to look at Zarmony as well. Zarmony jumping into the fight as Robodoba's trying to control Mana.
And he's trying to get the last minion, and he gets it. So they get at least the Punisher. Zarmony actually absolutely delivered on that Shrine. It was 30 against 26, and then he jumped in and was able to claim another 8-9 of those minions, and that allows them to at least get the Punisher now. They lose Urel too, so that's 2 heroes down, but at least they have the Punisher and can play around that. But the lockdown against Muradin, the stun follow-up, and down he goes. Kill after kill in the hands of Fnatic as they are now ahead with 6 kills against 0. They have level 13 versus level 12 on the Zealot side, but at least there's no Punisher pushing against the Zealots, so that's a little bit of a consolation prize for them.
Typical Infernal Shrines gameplay. One team trying to focus down the objective, one team trying to go for those kills. Zealots are able to grab the objective, but Fnatic are starting to slay. 6-0 in kills so far, and that has netted them a pretty nice cushiony experience lead. 13 3/4 to 12 1/4 of the Zealots.
Now let's put some numbers to the game here. We have Reyna with 26,000 damage right now, and that's nearly twice. That's actually double the amount of damage that we're seeing from Hanzo. Hanzo is the highest damage dealer on the side of the Zealots. He has 13k, so Shrimpy currently has twice his amount. Thrall is sitting at 14,000. Those are the top 3. And when it comes to stacks, the Behemoth armor is something that we pointed out earlier as a level 4 talent on Reyna, and we currently have 21 stacks on it. So that's another 105 hit points. It means in total through that talent, we have now 355 extra health for good old Jimmy. The level 13 talents are also in play, and as we've seen in the last game, the same talents being chosen here. Robodoba in trouble as the pop avatar. Just barely not falling, but yeah, Giddy Up as the level 10 choice, the level 13 choice for Shrimpy is currently what gives him the opportunity to move in on a target, close in when it starts to run away, get some extra shots in, and also move out of harm's way if need be.
If you're gonna say Giddy Up, you gotta do it with a country accent, man. Giddy Up! Give it to me, Caldor.
No.
I did Neil Peasants for you. Come on.
You did what?
Neil Peasants. I did it in a deep voice. Come on, give me a Giddy Up quick before this fight breaks out.
Do it again.
Shwimpy taking some damage here on the right. Murden comes in.
Oh!
Here comes a big Ring of Frost. Mana trying to get Quack low on health, but he's getting kited down. The heal connects. Here comes Zarmony slowing down Breeze as 2 have been picked up, and Raynor unable to giddy up out of there.
Should have giddied up right in that moment, but he didn't. Shut up.
Zealots are cleaning up in that fight, though, as they get a total of 3.
That was actually really well done because it looked like Reyna would survive here, but then it was Quacknix and with a final blow, Chris that gets the kill. Mena also, for Mena was really unlucky, trying to go into Quacknix and take him down, but then of course he himself falling out. Watch out for Reyna here. Shrimpy gets just blown to pieces in that moment. The Ring of Frost doing so much damage, and then Mena trying to get the kill too, but Chris is there and obliterates him, and from there on out it's of course just a full out retreat. Zarmony can even cut off Smexy, and that's the triple kill. So all of a sudden, Zealots are back in play with this. Both of the teams now closing in on level 16. And we're going into the next Shrine phase.
Zealot showing that Raynor, although he may have been reworked, one of the best ways to deal with him is just to get on top of him and put as much damage as he can possibly. He has a really hard time escaping. Zealot's able to lock him down and follow up with that Ring of Frost, blowing him up. Unable to walk away from that one. Now, things will change a little bit at 16, as we mentioned. Level 16 talent for Raynor should help him with burning down Muradin. And so far, they've been putting a lot of damage on Muradin. If they get that additional push, should be able to get a couple kills.
I mean, the one thing that Fnatic did the entire time is just aggressively jump on heroes, and the coordination between Breeze, Last Hope, and Mane was really good with this setup. So now again, Roba-Doba getting a lot of damage pushed onto him by Shwimpy, who went paint them red on level 16.
Wow. So actually going for healing, looking for survivability here instead of additional damage on Muradin. It feels like they might have enough, I guess. So Last Hope goes in. Goes for the attempted stun, does not get it. Shad with the Alexstrasza moving to a Dragon Queen though. Ring of Frost connects, but the Divine Shield will keep them alive. Thrall on the front line gets blown up, but Quacknix, he's next. Yeah,
Quacknix is down, Last Hope. He still has the bunker. He can still use that. Dragon comes back down. Bunker still not utilized here as we have Roba-Doba moving in. Nice dodge. Bunker play is out. But we have a 4 versus 4, and once more, Zealots are taking control of the Shrine here with the help of Alexstrasza. Shad is securing that position for them, and Fnatic is again on the back foot here.
Alexstrasza just disgusting on the Shrine phase, able to clear up the objective while helping on the fight and providing the additional heals. Fnatic running away now as Roba-Doba is going for a chase here. He gets a slow, tries to find Shwimpy, big jump comes in, jet propulsion being used to make sure they can lock down Roba-Doba and Zarmony, and Raynor will be able to survive. In fact, he's quite healthy.
Yeah, Shwimpy is just doing some disgusting damage at this point. He's always able to get those shots in, and he's sitting at 50,000 damage already. Again, Hanzo is sitting at 31k, so he's catching up a little bit, but this is still a huge difference between the two here. Zealots have now taken over the experience through that fight in the middle, and also, of course, the damage the Punisher has done. But the one thing I also want to add with Pain and Red, yeah, you get, of course, some self-sustain because you get some health back, but it's also extra damage on the penetrating round. And that can help you to secure a kill if it's the final shot there. But of course, you are in this interesting spot where once you take the talent, you are a little bit tempted to hold back your Q in your penetrating round because you want to use it when you're being attacked and when your opponent is trying to get a kill here. Nice dodge so far, only hitting one, smacks in the back. So yeah, Shwimpy has to make that choice. Do I go in for the 50% extra damage, or do I hold it back because once I'm getting, pressure gets put on me, I am able to heal myself a little bit and have myself sustain. So you really need to play around the cooldown and decide what's the best use right now in any given situation, and that's really just a decision-making process.
So far, he's been holding it to handle Muradin and Yrel, who's been trying to hop on him multiple times. The moment you see Yrel charging up in the middle of the air, you just pop down the penetrating round. Fnatic landing that. Zealots, however, after the last couple of kills and their continuous objective control, they are getting to a point where they are actually a little bit ahead in experience as they move towards level 20. Fnatic hanging in there despite being down 3 forts. As those kills have been helping them out, they've also been soaking a little bit better due to Blaze and Thrall constantly being on the side lanes. Zealots staying as 5.
Yeah.
Sharking around, maybe trying to find a kill or two.
I mean, the one impressive thing is just simply that Zealots, through them claiming the objectives, have been in a spot where they just took out every single fort. And Fnatic has gotten the kills. The problem is that with all the kills they got, they were 6-0, I believe, at some point. The one thing they always missed out on was the objective. That's the reason why the Zealots are actually ahead right now, because they won the objective over and over again, and that destroyed then the forts, and at some point Zealots were even able to get a few kills. It also means, though, that if Fnatic wins a single objective or wins a fight, this is going to snowball very, very, very quickly against the Zealots, because once those structures fall, that's a lot of experience that Fnatic will pick up on. Then again, does it really matter anymore? Because once you hit level 20 talents, those advantages through levels are really not the biggest difference.
Especially with Draconic Discipline coming online for 16 for Alexstrasza. Zealot to be able to stay on top of that point and try to continue to control it. Zealot setting up here with the Bruiser Camp at the top left, clearing it out. Should be able to grab that right when the Shrine spawns, and that should be spawning towards the south soon. If you have that top camp pushing in, it can threaten the keep, meaning Blaze or Thrall will pull away, and Fnatic may just give themselves up a full Shrine phase. Immediately, Fnatic trying to find experience, though. They come down, they get this turret here. One turret down, a second should fall soon here. They continue to poke it down. Not too much experience, as again, most of the experience is currently in forts, but if they get one here, they can actually take a lead over Zealots.
But as you said, like they need to be really careful that they don't lose someone here. They try to get experience, but here comes the play. They're going for Reyna. Thrall in the middle, so is Blaze. Cleanse had to be used. And they're able to make that. Once again, we're on the Shrine here, half a level away at this point for the Zealots until they hit 20. The Divine Shield barely saving Last Hope here. The Hyperion comes out, but this fight is just now starting as we have the Ring of Frost coming out and Reyna is gone. Blaze falls as well. Zealots are on their way to victory as they take down Smexy. The triple kill, the level 20 in the hands of the Zealots. They are 1-0 in the series as is, and now they move in on a Shrine with Storm Talons. Secure it, get 3 kills, and Fnatic is in a world of pain.
Perfect fight for the Zealots. Now they get the Night Camp also pushing in the top lane. Throw off the peel away and clear that out. They're working on level 20, but with a Punisher pushing in the south, they can use this 20 advantage and look for even a core here if they're able to get through this keep fast enough. And they're planning to do so. Immediately, all 5 group up and they run down this gate. They want to clear out the gate and the turret to make sure the Punisher is not baited to the middle of the second keep, giving Fnatic a better defense. Zealots are going for a victory march.
Yeah, they definitely are. And Fnatic doesn't even have level 20. They have 2 heroes on the map. They can't stagger these deaths, and they know it too. So they're just poking and trying to bait the Punisher into the middle. That's the attempt at this point, trying to delay that onslaught of the Zealots just slightly. Everyone is going to be back for the defense, but without Storm Talents, it's going to be rough. Muradin doesn't have Avatar, and we have a lot of hero abilities still on cooldown, but here comes the Engage, trying to turn this around somehow. Buy some time, save the core, get a kill if you can. But the Zealots, they are going to try and maximize the damage now.
Fnatic needs Earthquake. They need Hyperion, but they're not up for 15 seconds. Fnatic trying to push away the Zealots, not to get any damage on the core. The shields are still up and fine for now. Jet Propulsion comes in and connects on to Schwimpy. In trouble though. Ring of Frost comes out. He jumps in the bunker at the last second to stay alive. Giddy up as he tries to escape away from the fight. Smexy comes in for a stun, hits Robodoba, and Fnatic are holding.
Fnatic is holding for now. Here comes the Hyperion. Breeze is low though, and he goes down. He was trying to chase Jaina away. That didn't quite work out. They need to save the rest of the team, and the Punisher is still there with another 10 hit points. The cleanse comes out. Last Hope is on the run. Schwimpy saving himself. Last Hope also moving away, but the core is falling. Fnatic is already down to 70% on the core. So the Zealots are trying to go in. They're trying to confirm the kill. They get the 2-0.
Trying to get the kill. Uther stays alive. Manic comes around the side. We'll have a wolf up soon. Uther eventually gets picked off. He can continue healing. He has the ability to respawn here, but it doesn't matter. Zealots just go straight for the core, finish it off, and they go up 2-0 over Fnatic. Wow. Unexpected. Yeah. Very unexpected here. But Zealots are turning up the heat. The communication seems to be on point. Even being down there here in game number 2. Game number 1, you're like, all right, well, they won the first couple of Immortals. Sure, they were able to push forward. It's BOE. You can kind of put it towards a little snowballing. But game number 2, Infernal Shrines, they are playing well.
Game 1 was, for me, Fnatic underestimating Zealots. And to be fair, they had every reason to. Zealots didn't look powerful. They got a bit better as the weeks progressed. But I would say the idea of coming in and saying, okay, we have a clear favorite here. We're supposed to take this pretty easily because we are aiming for those top spots. I get why you had that idea. And I absolutely agree with it too, because that reflected what I expected here as well. I expected Zealots to do well, but I expected Fnatic to still be in the favorite spot. And now that has turned around very quickly, because I feel what you could tell, especially in game number 2, Quacknick's shot calling is really coming through for the team.
Finally,
it's not just the shot calling within the game, like making a snap call, like a core call, for example, but just the how do we approach this? How do we draft? Okay, we're going to secure Alexstrasza. We're going to try and make sure that we have control of the shrines. We're going to win the objective. And they got slaughtered in the early game. It was really, when you looked at the kills, Fnatic was dominating this. They were finding kills everywhere. They had heavy aggression through Thrall, Blaze, and Anubarak to try and find kills, and they found them. But when it came to the objective, Zealots was just dominant. And then they were able to tie experience-wise, and then they win one big fight, then the second one, and all of a sudden the game's over. So. Yeah. That just shows the power of a good shot caller that has a few weeks to work with a team. And it also explains, again, we talked about it so much, why they were struggling so much at the beginning of HGC Phase 2 in 2018. Because Quack was still playing for Fnatic at the mid-season brawl. And after he came back, they had so many games right after the start where he's just like, we couldn't really practice
You have
anything.
to mesh, you have to be on the same page.
We need to just get everyone with the same idea when we make a call, what's expected from them, where they should position themselves and how to do that. I'm speechless.
Shocked, honestly. Here.
A 2-0 for the Zealots against Fnatic at this point.
They still have to close it out, though.
And again, the thing is, I have to say this once more. We talked about this, but Fnatic is doing extremely well in scrims. Every team says that. Every single team. But then they come here and it just doesn't work out.
I mean, I'm going to steal words from you that you said a couple weeks. Nobody cares if you don't
Yeah,
show up in
no.
HGC.
Absolutely true.
Right?
Like, at the end of the year, nobody is going to care at all how you perform.
Results.
That doesn't matter at all. If you don't get the results, then you don't deserve to go to the events, and then you don't deserve to have a good standing in the rankings. Series isn't over, and Fnatic can definitely pull off a reverse sweep. But right now, I am. We might see the quick 3-0 that Shrimpy was talking about, just
Just
not
in a
quite,
different direction.
just not quite in the same way that he expected.
Well, we'll be right back with game number 3, and we'll see if Zealots can close out 3-0 or Fnatic can dig deep and figure out a way to make a reverse sweep.